that you have called before you two witnesses who pose a direct threat to people who oppose them.
You are a toy!
What's up, guys? The Democrat dumpster fire has burst into a star nebula and it might take out the entire universe. So cringe and embarrassing was yesterday's testimony on the Hill from the Twitter Files writers, Matt Taibbi and Michael Shellenberger. Democrats embarrassed and debased themselves so very much. Man, are you more than 3 years old? Because then you would remember when Democrats screamed that Donald Trump wasn't attacking the free press. But now Democrats are questioning journalists' credentials on Capitol Hill. Matt Taibbi fires back after Democrat calls him so-called journalist. Absolutely disgusting.
Him for his work. This isn't just a matter of what data was given to these so-called journalists before us now.
Ranking Member Plaskett, I'm not a so-called journalist. I've won the National Magazine Award, the I.F. Stone Award for Independent Journalism, and I've written 10 books, including 4 New York Times bestsellers. I'm now the
So Sagar and Jetty on Twitter saying the behavior of Stacey Plaskett, who's the congresswoman there, slandering and libeling Shellenberger and Taibbi and Wasserman Schultz is nothing short of disgusting. Who the F are these members of Congress to question who is a journalist and who is not? It is an attack on our First Amendment. Note they attack Taibbi and Shellenberger's credentials and not the censorship they reported. That's right. Attack the credentials of the people. Don't talk about the actual issue. This led us to ask a couple questions about Stacey Plaskett. You know, we know a lot about members of Congress, but who the hell is this Stacey Plaskett? Well, it's interesting. We did a bit of research ourselves, and turns out that Stacey Plaskett is the fraud. In yesterday's Twitter file hearing, Stacey Plaskett slandered Taibbi and Shellenberger as so-called journalists, but it's Plaskett who is the fraud. Wikipedia calls her a so-called delegate because she's a non-voting member from the Virgin Islands. That's right. Look at this. The so-called delegate from the United States House of Representatives. It's so beautiful. This is from her Wikipedia before she had an aneurysm, popped a bunch of Xanax, and then screamed at her lib friends at Wiki to change it. This was scrubbed now. Turns out turned into the non-voting delegate. This was scrubbed overnight after we revealed this and called her out on her fraudulence. Overnight, they scrubbed the so-called language from her page. Here's the before and after, but this video will live forever. We put in a video for
his work. This isn't just a matter of what data was given to these so-called journalists before us now. There are many legitimate questions about where Musk got the financing to buy Twitter. We know for a fact that foreign countries like Qatar...
Oh, man, they're so cretinous. These people are literal goblins. It turns out that the might does make right, though, when you have the chairmanship. Jim Jordan going absolute scorched earth on low information, low IQ Stacey Plaskett, who would rather slander journalists' credentials than talk about the actual censorship that they are uncovering, the actual journalism that they are doing.
Chairman, I'm not exaggerating when I say that you have called before you two witnesses who pose a direct threat to people who oppose them. It's funny when people have to go through that.
Crazy way.
Exactly. This is unacceptable. I'm ready for it. I don't know if a lot of other people are, but just as it was unacceptable for Kevin McCarthy to provide 41,000 hours of sensitive security footage to a biased talking head in an effort to rewrite what happened on January 6th. This is a new Republican playbook, apparently. Risk American safety and security to score political points.
The gentlelady's words should be struck. We do not accuse witnesses of threatening others. That is out of line and outside the rules of this committee.
That, and I can have an
opinion. You don't get to determine what's struck down.
Well, you do get an opening statement, and it's about over.
The committee will suspend.
We know this is because at the first hearing, the chairman claimed that big government and big tech colluded to shape and mold the narrative and suppress information and censor Americans. This is a false narrative. We're engaging in false narratives here, and we are going to tell the truth. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. I would just point out the consent decree was in our report. We offered your staff also the opportunity to review the FTC letters. You have not come over to review those letters. Third, The idea that I believe both of these individuals who are getting ready to testify, I believe they're both Democrats. The idea that two journalists who
Did
happen
you
to
not
be
give
Democrat,
that offer at 8 o'clock last night?
Now, your time was ended.
Neither of us are in time.
I don't think they're here to help us politically. I think they're here to tell us the truth. And oh, by the way, the first FTC letter to Twitter after the first set of Twitter files, the very first question was, who are the journalists you're talking to? And you guys don't care. You don't care.
You care about the 2011
people to see.
consent decree?
You don't want the American people to see what happened, the full video, transparency. You don't want that, and you don't want two journalists who have been named personally by the Biden administration, FTC, in a letter.
The Biden administration.
You say they're here to help us. They're here to tell their story. And frankly, I think they're brave individuals for being willing to come after they've been named in a letter from the Biden FTC.
Is this your question time now?
No, I'm responding to your ridiculous statements you made in your opening statement.
Okay, well, let's get on with it.
Oh, now we want to get on with it. So you can say all the things you want. And
I did in my opening statement as well as you had an opening statement. You said what you needed to say in your opening statement, and I, as the ranking member, have used my
Without objection,
time.
all other opening statements will be included in the record. We will introduce today's witness, Matt Taibbi.
Boom! Jim Jordan going in, ladies and gentlemen. It's so funny to go and look at these complete frauds. There's a lot of people in my mention saying that she's a CIA asset. She's down in the Virgin Islands. She did accept a ton of money from Jeffrey Epstein. The Stacey Plaskett is a real piece of work here. Again, they have now scrubbed the so-called delegate language. It said she's a non-voting delegate of the House of Representatives, at-large congressional district inside of the Virgin Islands. The Virgin Islands, also the area that has Little St. James on it, where Jeffrey Epstein was the proprietor. Well, I think Stacey Plaskett should be asked if she's ever gone to Little St. James. We'd love to hear the answer to that. The answer yesterday that was given about why they were up on Capitol Hill. I think this is far more important than the members of Congress tifting back and forth. The Twitter files and the subjects they are in, they are McCarthyism in the digital age.
We learned Twitter, Facebook, Google, and other companies developed a formal system for taking in moderation requests from every corner of government, from the FBI, the DHS, the HHS, DOD, the Global Engagement Center at State, even the CIA. For every government agency scanning Twitter, there were perhaps 20 quasi-private entities doing the same thing, including Stanford's Election Integrity Partnership, NewsGuard, the Global Disinformation Index, and many others, many taxpayer-funded. A focus of this fast-growing network, as Mike noted, is making lists of people whose opinions, beliefs, associations, or sympathies are deemed misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation. That last term is just a euphemism for true but inconvenient. Undeniably, the making of such lists is a form of digital McCarthyism. Ordinary Americans are not just being reported to Twitter for de-amplification or deplatforming, but to firms like PayPal, digital advertisers like Xandr, and crowdfunding sites like GoFundMe. These companies can and do refuse service to law-abiding people and businesses whose only crime is falling afoul of a distant, faceless, unaccountable, algorithmic judge.
Wow, what a spectacular statement there from Taibbi. Michael Schellenberger posting on Twitter, hey, look, we are some so-called journalists. And then following up, of course, with just one Barry Weiss away from a threesome, hilarious moment where this deeply low information geriatric member of Congress said, so you're in a threesome? Talking about the members of the Twitter files. Comedy gold, says Elon Musk. Elon Musk famously responding to AOC, who's obsessed with him. What can I say? It was a naked abuse of power. They're not scared. They're not scared. These people are embarrassing to themselves. They're embarrassing to their constituents. They're embarrassing to the rest of us here in America. They are frauds. They are the so-called delegates. They are, again, not in favor of journalism or truth or transparency or the facts They don't want you to see what happened on January 6th. They just want control and power. And that's why that's got to be the number one thing that we take away from them as we save America together. My name's Benny Johnson. See ya. Thank you for watching. Our channel is here to meme the libs until they cry and then to meme them crying. They're tears. They taste just like sweet, delicious ice cream. Salty, too. We ridicule the establishment and the libs because of you. Your support keeps us going. So if you like what you saw, please punch the subscribe button, click like, and ring the little bell so that you know when we're live. Don't you want to know when we're live? And make sure that you subscribe to our email list just in case the plug gets pulled, as tends to happen. If you want to see more of our videos, click here or here. My name is Benny Johnson. Stay free, Base Patriots.